Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for the collective for this full moon in Pisces, which is a blue full moon, a super full moon, because it's the second full moon in a month. So we started August with a full moon in Aquarius, and now we're ending August with the full moon in Pisces. And this blue full moon reminds me of 2021 when we had the full moon, the blue full moon in Aquarius, also in August, if I'm not mistaken, when I started doing tarot readings here on YouTube. So it's been a while. It's been a journey, actually. And I've been missing actually doing readings. My life has been going on to so many different directions that sitting down here today to pull cards really just grounded me, and it felt really good to be back in a sense. So for this collective reading, I am doing this reading with my big combined deck of tarot cards and astrological oracle cards. So you'll see both of them here. And it's interesting because the card from the astrological oracle deck that is here in the first part on YouTube is painting a picture that is really different from the symbol, from the sign that is here, the astrological sign. But so are the other cards. I mean, I usually tend to read different from the traditional meaning or from the original meaning of tarot. But today, right now, this message here for this collective reading is more than usual or more than never, because it's like it's showing me this mask fading away, and it's like it's unveiling the structure behind self, behind who you are. And it's almost like this not detangling, but it's like fading away. It's almost like this dissolving process of letting go of masks and roles and titles and things that might have worked for some time, but it's almost like it's too heavy now, and it's not necessary for us, for you, for me, for us in the collective to carry the weight or the burdens of this position, of this mask, of this role, of this title, because things are being switched, things are being swapped. And it's almost like I'm seeing this swapping of hats, like as a metaphor of swapping of roles and perceptions and ways of perceiving the world, so points of view. So we're beginning with this Five of Wands, and this Five of Wands was talking about a windstorm, and it was talking about just sticking to where you are, just staying put. It's like ground yourself, because sometimes I see the symbol for the wands as a tree. So the way that I'm seeing these five trees, in a sense, it's almost like one tree wouldn't weather this storm, but because it's five, and to me also this symbol, right, this mark, the X mark, the X marks self, right? This talks about self, but it's almost like five parts of yourself, or your five senses, or your fifth dimensional way of perceiving reality, or you connecting with your higher self, in a sense. This is what is going to help you and us in the collective to weather this storm, because yes, the Five of Wands is a conflict card, right? It's a card that brings fight and struggle, and people just trying to survive, really, right? It's like survival skills are required here, but the survival ability, it's almost like this it's almost like the strongest ability to survive this, the strongest trait, the strongest way of dealing with the windstorm is to stick to the ground. It's like just go deeper and deeper and deeper, because it's like the deeper your roots are and the more connected with other aspects of yourself, or even like other people, right? It's like this web of connectivity, or this web of relationships that is talking about how you're going to weather the storm, how you're going to go through this windstorm, because the windstorm seems to be just removing or cleansing the mask. So the reason why I'm talking about this mask so much is because of these two cards here. So here is the Taurus card from the Astrological Oracle deck. Here is the World card from the Tarot deck, right? So two completely different cards. And I feel like I've never seen them side by side like this. So this card was showing me flesh, and this card was showing me the bones. But it's interesting because here with the horn of the bull, right? Because that's the animal that is represented by Taurus. It's like it's got like this very, it's like this armor, right? It's like this it's like this sign that they wear, or us, right? Because this is like us, like this is the personality. It's almost like this is the ego mask, or like the just the appearance, right? What's on the outside, because this is the flesh. So this is what is in contact with the outside. And so this carries some sort of sign that signals to the other that you are strong, that you are steady, that you are holding steady while this windstorm is passing by, right? So there is strength here, and stability. But most of all, it's almost like the external appearance. Maybe we're talking about like, just showing or trying to show to others that you are strong, but really it's like you don't want really others to see that you feel weak inside, or that you feel empty inside, because the World card today is coming through as like an empty vessel. It's almost like the structure is void, or is hollow. That's a word that was coming through that I was forgetting. So hollow, right? Hollow bones, is that like the name of a movie, like a Harry Potter movie or something like that? But it's like it's something like that, right? Or it's like what's on the outside, what is visible is your strength, is your sturdiness, is your steadiness, is your ability to weather whichever storm, right? So it's like you've got like this very clear sign that is on your face, really, right? It's like your facial expression, or some sort of like amulet is coming through, like some sort of signal, right? Some sort of it's like it's very easy for others to see that you how strong you are because of what you wear, right, on the outside. But on the inside, and this is what the wind is actually blowing through to show, but it's not to show to others, because it's like maybe it's for yourself, right? It's like you don't need to prove to others that you are strong. You don't need to wear the horns. You don't need to wear the armor or whatever. It's like the flesh can be tender is what I'm hearing right now. It's like the flesh can be tender. What does that mean? But the structure has to be strong. It's like that. This is what needs to be strong, not this. You see what I mean? It's like the outside can be tender. The flesh, the skin can be very soft, but the inside, this is what truly has to be strong and steady, right? Because it's like, it's almost like what the wind is unveiling and blowing away really is this cap. The Hierophant here is coming through as like the role or the position or the authority figure, or the it's like it's almost coming through as like some sort of placement, right? Whether you have been entitled for something, or you have been chosen for some kind of job that you, it's like you want to prove to others that you are up for it, that you are capable, that you're strong enough. But but it's like, the interesting thing about this Hierophant is that I feel like you have been holding this position with this sign in your forehead or in your face, right? For so long that it's becoming too heavy, because the structure inside is not as well grounded as the external appearance. You see what I mean? So it's almost like the wind is blowing through right now, stronger than ever, perhaps. And that is what is requiring you to stretch out, because the five here is talking about stretching the roots, right? It's like spread your roots deep and wide, right? This is what is going to help you weather the storm, is not necessarily the facade or the mask that you're wearing on the outside. It's not the amulet, or it's not like, when animals have, those scary teeth, or the jaw, or the eyes, or anything that is scary, right? It's supposed to be scary so that they don't get eaten, in a sense, right? But there is no need for that. And that's the reason why this windstorm is coming through, to blow off this external appearance of strength, to fortify the real strength that is needed here in this inside, right? So it doesn't get hollow, so it's not empty, so it's not devoided of essence or like juice, right? It's almost like, for the skin to be soft and tender, like the internal parts need to be very juicy. I don't know what that means. So this has to go, right? It's like the responsibility that you have been carrying, or something that you have been like the commitment, right? For some reason wants to be like, it's like this. You have accepted some sort of position or role or job or title or whatever in your life, because you wanted to prove to others, perhaps, or even to yourself, right? It doesn't need to be for others, but to yourself, that you can do this, that you can carry this. But what this storm is showing you is that this is not necessary. What is on the outside, right? It's like, it's not as significant as the world inside, or like in your it's like this inner world is a lot more in need of strength and stability than the outside world. It's almost like the outside world has been taken care of, or it's like you have done what was required of you in this position with, and these two energies are Taurian energies, right? Because Taurus is the sign that is represented by the Hierophant. So we have both Taurian energies here. And so there is a lot of stability and this need for security. The need, maybe we're talking about financial stability, or this like, just holding on steady wherever you are, right? Just sticking to it. And this is the message. But what is going to hold you in place, intact in a sense, right? And surviving this storm is not what you think it is. That's what I mean, right? What is going to truly hold you is this inner system of roots that are just buried deep down inside of you, right? That right now you're discovering that they are hollow or empty, or in need of more attention and more. It's like oiling a machine, right? This is what I'm seeing here. It's like this has been neglected in a sense. So the bottom row here talks about this shift, talks about this swapping of hats, swapping of ways of perceiving what you are taking in or taking on your shoulders, or what are your next responsibilities, and how you're going to build or rebuild your inner structure in a much more organized way, in a much slower way also, but in a much more, it's interesting, it's coming through as sacred security, right? So in a sacred way that is also safe, that is also secure. So we have the Two of Pentacles, the Magician, and the Knight of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles here is talking about this swapping of hats, because on one side of it, we have the hat of the Hierophant, and on the other side, we have the hat of the Magician. So it's, at first, before I saw this one here, I was seeing this storyline or this narrative as you removing the heaviness of this authority, of this burden that has become, right, this Hierophant position, however it fits for you, this symbol, for a much more magical and mystical, and even like it's like that awe-striking surprise that the universe never fails to bring to us, right? So this is what this Magician was talking about. But when I saw this Knight, actually the Magician is not, it's not that the Magician is going to hand you over their hat so you can have theirs and they take on yours. You see what I mean? It's not that type of swapping the hats, as in, like, imagine if you were in a circle, right? And there are, like, every person in this circle, like, imagine there are 5 people, right, in this circle. Each person has a hat. It's not like you're passing along your hat and then you're getting the one from the person right beside you, right? It's not, it was what I was seeing at first, but it's not exactly what is happening because of this Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is you, right? The Magician is just the, it's like this intermediary. It's like the middle person. It's like it's like the facilitator. That's the better word, right? It's like with the magic of the Magician, this can be changed. And this can be changed to this. So this feels like working mode. This feels like authority giving orders, right? It's like, this is the boss. This is like the worker in a sense. But it's not like a downgrade. That's not what I'm seeing here. It feels like this was too overwhelming and it's like you stood your ground for as long as you could, but something outside of you, which seems to be like kind of like a blessing in disguise, right? Because at first it may seem like it's very chaotic because of the conflict that is, going around in your life, just like a windstorm, right? It's almost like you just have to weather the storm for just a little longer, right? So because flesh and bone, right? Because there is a distinction being made about the external appearance and the inside world that is going to give you the real structure for you to really, really weather the storm. So this Hierophant is going away, right? But it's being replaced in a sense, and it's being swapped, because the way that I'm seeing this Two of Pentacles, it's like, those old TV shows, I don't know if this was common in other countries as well, but here in Brazil it was, there was this, a long time ago, I was a child when I watched this, but there were a few TV shows that, there was a person that was blinded and they couldn't hear anything that the presenter was saying. And they got to swap their gifts or, whatever they were there to receive, right? So it's like the presenter would say something like, would you swap a bicycle for a broom? And then the person had to say, without knowing anything, would have to say yes or no, right? So this is how I'm seeing this Two of Pentacles. It's almost like without even knowing that this is what you're giving up in a sense for this, it's like you're saying yes because it's coming from the Magician. So in a sense, there is some sort of beautiful magic that is happening. The way that I'm seeing this Magician working is through the wind, right? Because of the sparkles here, it's almost like I'm seeing, it's like this shift in terms of perceiving this wind as a storm or as a soft breeze. And it has to do also with this very rigid inner structure. But it's like when this inner part, or it's interesting, it's wanting to be referred as inner landscape, when it is well oiled or taken care of or attended to, right? It's like when you take a look at what's inside, it's like when you pay attention to the real structure, that's going to provide you with a soft and tender skin, right? The outside will reflect that beauty in a sense, that softness most of all. So this is the shift that this magician is bringing to you, and this is what is making you perceive things in a slower pace, because the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest of them all, and this is talking about just, it's like here you'll have more time to enjoy the road and the journey. If you were here, you wouldn't be able to enjoy as much, right? It's like here you'll have the time, or maybe less responsibilities. Here it's like there was a lot on your shoulders. It's like you were carrying a heavy weight, like a heavy crown over your head, right? In a sense. So it's like it was starting to burden you. So swapping this doesn't seem to be like a bad deal in a sense, right? Although some people would see this from the outside looking in, right? If they were sticking just to the surface, just to what's on the outside, they would say that you're crazy to swap this for this. But knowing that it's like your intention is to enjoy, right? It's like it's to enjoy the ride instead of wanting to race to get to wherever this is, right? Because you've been there. That's the thing. It's like you've been there. You tasted it. You know how it feels to be here. So, but you also know the responsibility of being here. So this swapping that this magician is facilitating is something that is making you see the windstorm now with fresh eyes. One that it's like you don't have to carry this armor. You don't have to wear this symbol that would, prove your strength or your bravery or your tenacity. For some reason it wants to come with that word. It's like to everyone else on the outside, right? It's like you feel it. It's like you have enough to protect you, right? So it's like you can proceed forward, but just in a slower pace, right? And all this Taurian energy also here talks about just taking it slow and one step at a time, because the Two of Pentacles also talks about that, right? One step at a time. So swapping heads in this case seems to be like a really, really great deal, right? So it's not a downgrade at all. It's actually for your benefit in a sense. So I am going to pull more cards to see where this message wants to go. And I am going to pull from the astrological runes in the extended reading. So if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find the link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay. Oh, and a happy full moon. Bye.